What's up, everybody? It's your boy JP, back again with another video. Today, I have the continuation of my Motorola extravaganza. This is the final device in the three that I've had that I got around the same time. This is the Moto Watch 100. And this watch was announced like a month before it even came out, maybe even a month and a half. They definitely announced it way sooner, way, I would say too soon, honestly. But it finally came out on December 15th. It's kind of an oddball, honestly. Last year, or it might have been late 2020, but because it's 2022 now, so yeah, it was definitely 2020. I just thought of that. But in 2020, I think it was like in the summertime, Motorola had released an Android Wear watch, a Wear OS smartwatch and they hadn't in a long time, and it was the Moto 360. Now, at that time, we had learned that Motorola actually licensed their name to a separate company that actually makes the watches, or at least at the time, the Moto 360. The name of the company is, I'm missing a part of it, but it's E-Buy something. Not eBay, it's E-Buy, like B-U-Y, like you go out and buy something. E and the E is styled like eBay, where it's lowercase, even though it's the first letter. But it's E by something. I can't remember the last part. It's another word, but it's all put together like one word, no space. You know what I'm talking about. But I mean, heck, it may even be on the box of this thing right here. Actually, let me see. Let's see. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it is E-Buy Now E-Commerce Limited. Right there. Yeah, and that's who it's manufactured and distributed by and sold by. And it's just it's Motorola, gave them the right to their licensing, for as far as smartwatches go. Now, this is the second watch under that conglomerate, but it does not run Wear OS. It runs what they are calling Moto Watch OS. It's either Moto OS or Moto Watch OS, but nevertheless, it obviously does not run Wear OS, but the price tag is also much lower. This watch runs for $100, and it's not bad. It's not bad. The band is comfortable, I think, anyways. It has quite a few sensors. The battery life is great on it, as you would think would be the case. The Moto Watch OS is nothing more than just a modified RTOS, real-time OS, if you will, which a lot of these smartwatches actually run if they're not running a smart OS, a wearable OS like Wear or Apple's Watch OS. Of course, obviously it wouldn't run that unless it was an Apple product, but or even the Zepp OS like your Amazfit watches run. Because that is an actual wearable OS, which I'll go into that in my overview I'll do pretty soon on the Amazfit GTR 3 Pro that I have. So look out for that. But the RTOS is used in, like, if you go back in my other videos, like the OnePlus watch as well as the Red Magic watch. Those used modified RTOSs. And this is, this is more. This is, I would say it's more towards the OnePlus watch interface. But it still has its own design, its own UI, which is not a bad thing at all. I did like the fact that the OnePlus watch, they tried to mimic Wear OS. That sounds bad, but I actually appreciated it because it actually makes the watch easier, more enjoyable. It just kind of, if it's something you're used to, it helps. That doesn't, of course, that's not always the case. Y'all remember back, 7-8 years ago, your Samsung phones, what was it, TouchWiz, tried to mimic, iOS, and it just didn't do a good job of it. But the watch is pretty basic. This is another watch I have right here. You'll see this in a video soon too. This is the Realme Watch 2, and I really like this watch. But just kind of give you a little overview of it. It's not really a whole lot to it, but it does work really well. The screen is LCD. It's not AMOLED like you would hope. This one is, I must say, and it doesn't. This one also doesn't have This one also doesn't have a always on display. And just because it's LCD doesn't mean it can't have an always on display. Remember that. A lot of people think that it has to have an OLED to have always on display. OLED just helps with the battery life, because any of the blacks, can be left off to save on battery life. The whole screen doesn't have to be lit like LCD. But I've had LCD devices, phones and watches with always on displays that with the battery didn't just zap. I mean, it might have lost, it might have gotten, at the end of the day, it might have lost 10% more battery life than the equivalent device with an OLED screen, I remember back in the day, the Galaxy, the LG G6 and the Galaxy S8, it came out, the same year, what was that, like 2017, I want to say. The G6 had an LCD screen, LG's famous IPS at the time, and it had an always on display, and it only lost like 5 to 10% more battery life each day, than the Galaxy S7 did, and I had them both at or the Galaxy S8, I'm sorry. And I used them both religiously, at work. I was at the same job I am now, 4:30 in the morning until, 2 in the afternoon. And, so just to kind of, give you an idea, they can do always on LCD screens, and I've seen it on watches as well. But, it's not a whole lot to go over. It was very glitchy when it first came out, and it actually wasn't the watch. It was actually the app, the Moto Watch app for your phone. And it was very glitchy, but they have since fixed that, and through a couple of updates, and it works great actually. So if you go and just now get into this watch, you'll have a much better time than I did. When this thing first came out, it was pretty difficult. But is it worth $100? I wouldn't say that, honestly. I think for $100 you'll have a better deal with the Red Magic watch. That was a little bit better. But I will say the build quality on this is really good. It uses aluminum, so it's not plastic. It looks plastic, but it's not. It's aluminum. You can't really tell though because it's black. They have a silver one as well, which is also really nice. And the bands are interchangeable very easily. Just if I can zoom in on that. Yeah, there we go. But it uses the pogo pin charger style, the basic ones. It's aluminum, which is really nice. It the Red Magic watch, I can't remember. I think it was plastic. It was a nice plastic though. It was what do they call that? Polycarbonate. The OnePlus watch definitely, has both beat in terms of, build quality, not just in the construction of the watch itself, but even the screen. But you also pay a little bit more for that watch. You pay what does it cost? Like $130 or $150, possibly $170 or something like that. $180. I can't remember. It's been a while, but and at that price point, I would still kind of put the Red Magic watch a little bit there. Not quite ahead of it, but close. Just because it hits that sweet spot. This watch, I honestly feel it should be priced at, $75, if that really. I mean, even $60 maybe. It just doesn't have enough to really go on to be $100. I've been really impressed because, I know Motorola actually did have something to do with this watch. Lenovo, whatever you want to call them. Even though they just licensed it off, they had to have something to do with this watch. It wasn't just buy now that, wholly 100%. And it's, the Moto 360 back in 2020 was not a bad watch at all. It definitely competed with like the TicWatch Pro, the standard one, not the Pro 3 or the Pro LTE. And that was a watch that was actually from eBuy Now, like this, and that watch was really good. So eBuy Now is definitely capable of making a good watch. But they may just need to stick to Wear OS smartwatches instead of trying to, make an RTOS based one. Just my opinion there. Because I really do think that Red Magic and OnePlus actually made the best RTOS smartwatches I've ever seen. Besides, I got to back up though. Besides this one right here, this Redmi Watch 2 is amazing. Amazing. This is actually the best RTOS, and I'll get to that in my video. I really will. But I know a lot of people aren't going to like it because it's square and there's not a round one available yet. Anyways, I think they are doing one, but don't hold me to that. But yeah, it's just at $100, I can't really. I mean, if it was $75, I could give it a recommendation, but not at $100. They really need to come down or add more features to it. But I mean, it's a decent watch. It's nice looking. The build quality is great. But honestly, if it had the glass that the OnePlus watch has, it would. I'd notch it closer to the 100 mark. Maybe 80, 90. But it's not a lot in the box. There's a quick start guide of, again, your charger. There's nothing really to it there. Got it here on the back right here, Moto Watch 100. There's not really a ton to go on there. But let's see. I think I already kind of went. Yeah, I did already kind of go through the system there and everything. It's just not, But yeah, it's decent. It's decent. Like I said, though, I got 2 other watches coming, and I also have the Xiaomi 12 coming. So, man, y'all just y'all been on the lookout for those, and I'll see you on the next videos. Peace out.